Right, so everybody's saying like, oh, everybody's hiring, like nobody wants to work, da 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 da. I have applied to literally hundreds of jobs over the last few weeks. I've been without work for 3 weeks now, and I have been non-stop applying to literally everywhere and have yet to find a single job in my area. Of course, there are places that are hiring for $12 an hour, $13 an hour, but I can't survive off of that. So it's not that people don't want to work, it's that people don't want to work for pennies. People don't want to work to not be able to pay their bills. People don't want to work to not be able to feed their kids. I just cannot understand why it is this hard to find a job right now. Like, I cannot keep going on like this without any work, and I just can't afford to, and I literally don't know what I'm gonna do. And I am desperately searching for a job, and I can't find one. So, wish me luck on my job searching.
There's this really crazy theory going on right now because Indeed and all these job search websites have thousands of jobs that say they're hiring, but everyone that's applying is not getting hired. And some guy actually did a test where they had hundreds of people fill out applications and no one hired them or got a call back. And so the running theory is that they're using all people's data and selling it to bigger companies. So when you send all your information in, like your first name, your last name, where you're located, your resume, where you've been, they're taking that information and selling it to bigger companies and holding on to it, because right now data is the new gold. And that's kind of scary. What do you think?
Please tell me I'm not the only new grad nurse that graduated last summer and still haven't found a job. Anyways, I just wanted to come here because I'm frustrated. Anyways, I graduated in May of last year, took my NCLEX in July of last year, and didn't start looking for a job like a lot of my classmates after I passed NCLEX, because I was not emotionally ready. As you know, or may not know, my mom passed away in July, actually the same day I took my NCLEX, so it really took a big toll on me, and I spent 32 or more days at the hospital, and I just kind of wanted to take some time to really separate my feelings about hospitals and from being a patient's daughter to now possibly being an employee of a hospital, and really grieve the loss of my mother. She was my last living parent. So anyways, I didn't look for a job like a lot of my friends, but even my friends who did look for a job after they passed NCLEX were having a really difficult time. And I know that a lot of them just kind of, quote unquote, settled for whatever came along and are struggling. Some even quit their jobs because they felt like their license were being compromised at these hospitals. And that's very discouraging for me. I don't want to just take a job where I don't feel safe at, or my license are being compromised. Anyways, I didn't fully look for a job until about October of last year. And I was very fortunate to land an interview with the top hospital for the new grad program, and through a friend of mine, for a unit that I really didn't want to be in, but I was willing to do it because I respect this hospital. But anyways, I thought the interview went really well, but I guess it didn't, because I didn't get the job. Anyway, so that left me very discouraged. So I kind of took the time to apply for other jobs. Now I just applied for new grad positions because there was no new grad residency program opened, and I really wanted to get into new grad residency program because I felt like that was the best start for a new grad, somewhere that they are transitioning into a new grad nurse, instead of just kind of thrown in there. Somewhere they can build more confidence as a new grad nurse. Anyway, so I applied for a lot in the last couple of months, and yeah, it's a lot of crickets in my emails. So I was very fortunate that I got 2 lined up this week. of course, through friends, because I feel like networking is the only way that you can really get your applications to stand out. And yes, I'm going to take advantage of the resources and network that I have. And yeah, so I'm finger crossed that one of them will land, because they are both in units that I want to be in, that I'm very passionate about. So yeah, so fingers crossed. But other than that, it's so difficult as a new grad nurse. I'm not trying to discourage anyone to be a nurse, but there's a lot of things that I would do differently during nursing school. Like, one, I'd probably started working at a hospital already in the unit that I want to be in and hope to get absorbed into their new grad program versus having to apply from the outsider. So if you're a nursing student and you want to get into units that are specialized, start getting into those units now as a CNA, a tech, secretary, whatever position you can get. Just get yourself in the hospital. So that would be the advice I would give myself 2 years ago. So I'm done with my vent. Fingers crossed.
Okay. Can we just talk about how hard it is to get a job right now? I got laid off around a month ago, but I've been applying, but I feel like I barely even get a response back of like a yes or no or any of that. And I wish there was an easier way to do these like mass applications instead of just doing it through LinkedIn or Indeed, because I feel like there's hundreds and hundreds of applicants and like you'll probably won't hear back from the companies that you're applying for. But yeah, it's rough out here.
And it's really frustrating applying to entry-level roles, and then you get to the interview and they're like, do you have experience in this, 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 and this? And I don't know what half those fucking words mean, because now we both look dumb. Because why would you pick my resume, and why would you pick me to interview whenever you know there's 100 other applicants that are better fit for the role? Whenever you saw my resume, you saw I didn't have experience in that, you saw I'm a recent graduate. It's just been really hard out here because these bitches are wasting my motherfucking time, and it's like, why won't you even fucking look at the resume? Anyways, if anybody's hiring, let me know.
I really feel like I'm never gonna get a job again. Like, I'm so scared because like I have been unemployed for 3 months. I'm not eligible for unemployment because I just moved here. I am so stressed out. Like, this has never happened to me before. Like, I've always had a job. Like, I was an honor student, like third in my class, so successful in high school and college. And I have a bachelor's degree in poli-sci. I have 2 years of experience in mental health. I'm a great worker. I'm so organized, but nobody will even give me an interview. And I was crying on the phone with my mom because I was like, what if I literally can't find a job? Like, I've been applying for months. Like, I literally can't find anything. Like, what am I gonna do? Like, am I just gonna live with my parents for the rest of my life? Because like, I'm not kidding you, I literally cannot get an interview anywhere. And I have applied to hundreds, if not thousands of jobs in the past few months. I literally don't know what to do. Like, I'm genuinely so scared. Like, I really am terrified. Like, I don't know what is happening in the world right now, but like, I am a good candidate. I don't know what's happening.
Well, I'm blessing in disguise from being unemployed right now and having to kind of do side gigs. And I've been doing a lot of freelance work for different clients and things like that. I'm not making the money I was making before, and I'm still trying to find a full-time job, okay? But the nice thing about it is I technically work for myself, okay? I can take on clients and I can drop clients if I want to. And for years working in corporate America, as the world burned around me, we lived through COVID. I lived in Minneapolis during the protests for George Floyd. I lived in Texas during Roe v. Wade being overturned. I lived in Texas when Uvalde happened just a few hours away. The world is constantly burning around us. And now, living in Los Angeles, ICE is kidnapping people from the streets. And now, as an Iranian American living here, I am just like fearing the safety of my family. And there's a lot going on, right? And mentally it takes a toll. But working in corporate America all these years, and while the world burned around us, I've had to sit at my desk 9 to 5 and just pretend like that's not happening, right? And pretend like the SaaS software that I was marketing was more important than my family's safety or my community's safety. And the nice thing about it is today I literally dropped one of my clients, and not because there was like a political difference, but they, you know, it was meant to be part-time, and the bandwidth that they asked for was just more than I was expecting. And the CMO who I was working closely with, like, I expressed a little bit of like what's going on in the world and how, you know, I need to protect my bandwidth, and working for yourself, like not being under a corporate umbrella, like you have the freedom to do that. You have the privilege to do that. You have every right to say, like, my bandwidth right now only has this much bandwidth for work, and be able to say, I now need to take some of my bandwidth and allocate it towards what's going on in the world, towards my mental health, towards where, you know, I think things matter. I know the world will not, you know, the world can't stop running because of these things. But that's just, I guess, one blessing in disguise, right? Like, I spent half the morning crying and trying to get a hold of my family in Iran. And yesterday I dropped my client. And if I hadn't done that, I would be getting passive aggressive messages all morning, as if I was a full-time employee. I was not a full-time employee. I don't say this as a way of like, you can just like use what's going on as an excuse to like not do your work, but just kind of like a blessing in disguise, I guess, of like not having to sit at my 9 to 5 right now working on SaaS software, while I fear for the safety of my community here in Los Angeles, here in America, and the safety of my family and my community in Iran.
Okay, so let's talk about the jobs report real quick. I heard on the news this morning that this is the first jobs report of 2025 where we're actually going to see the impact of decisions made by the federal administration through the data about the labor market. And I read a quote from an article that said the economy is not as sturdy as people believe. So let's get into it. Private payrolls lost 33,000 jobs in June, and they're forecasting to lose 100,000 more in July. And layoffs aren't the only problem. So there's a hesitancy to hire new people, and there's a reluctancy to hire for jobs that were lost. The number of long-term unemployed people increased to 1.6 million. And there was a net decline in jobs added, which has not happened since March of 2023. And before that was like the depths of the pandemic. And they're saying that this is not a bad report. This is just not as solid as it's coming off in the media. I read an interesting quote. A CEO was explaining how companies need visibility into taxes, into what the government is deciding to do before they can even make one hire, because they need all that information before they can add one person to their payroll. And tariffs being on again, off again, makes it really hard for businesses to make these decisions long term. And while they're saying things like unemployment went down to 4.1%, it was 4.2% last month, remember, not all unemployed people are accounted for, okay? And people that are underemployed, people that are taking odd jobs, people that have been unemployed for 18 months don't count in those numbers either. So sometimes you gotta read a few articles, you gotta listen to the news, do a couple things, pick and choose what you want. Okay, and I have to stop here because I promised all my Rise members that if I posted anything over the long weekend, it would not be unemployment related, it would not be job market related, but honestly, I forgot that the jobs report came out today. So sorry to everyone if I broke the promise. I promise my next video won't have anything to do with this. Okay, so my problem with the job market right now, aside from like the lies and the scams and like the overall like icky feeling we all get when we have to like put ourselves on display like we're a show pony, right, is the fact that candidates are being asked to consider what is the lowest they would value themselves, especially people who are unemployed, especially people who are like desperately looking for work. We're now having conversations with ourselves looking in the mirror of like, what is the absolute lowest dollar amount I would value myself, my time, my skills, my worth? Because that's how people are approaching this. Like, they're not able to get opportunities in a field at a fair rate or even close to what they were making prior to their layoff or maybe pre-COVID, whatever their situation looks like right now. So they're being backed into a corner and forced to look at themselves and go, what is my lowest value? And that's how like we're normalizing this conversation, not what can I offer, what can I do? It's like I'm looking at a description and I'm looking at the price and going, do I think I'm worth more than the dollar amount on this role? Would I go that low? And when you're looking at yourself from like a how low would I go negative value, that's going to eat away at your mental health. And that's what a lot of job seekers are dealing with right now.
I just had a fucking job interview. I prepped. I love the company. My fucking anxiety and my nerves got in the way. I kept tripping over my words. And it was so frustrating in the moment. Literally at one point during the interview, I was like, I need to take a deep breath. And I tried so hard to recover, but they literally ended the call short. So I fucking hate it here.
Something that I would have never expected to happen to me ended up happening to me. So I finally got a job after being unemployed for 6 months and just being put through the ringer and facing rejection after rejection and being this close so many times. I finally got a job that I was excited about and I was passionate about it. The weirdest thing is that after I get off this call of them telling me that I got the job, I was with my mom and I told her that I have this weird feeling in my gut that it's going to be taken away from me. And little do you know, 3 days later, I get an email from the company saying that they are rescinding the offer. So at this point, like any human does, I am throwing myself the biggest pity party on this planet. I'm sending out invites to my friends and my family. The invites are stamped with tears. And I just fall into this super dark place that I've been in before. And after facing so much disappointment and rejection, I have learned and mastered the skills of having inner strength, both here and up here, and to be able to pull myself out of these dark places and to dust myself off and try again. And that is a life lesson that I know that I needed to learn. But ultimately, what got me out of this dark place was remembering the mantra that rejection is redirection and divine protection. And I fell off the course of my divine path. And so here I am driving my little car of life, just hitting wall after wall. And the universe had to come in and course correct me. And so I don't know what the destination is that I'm being brought to. But what I do know and what I have faith in is that it is just beyond my wildest imagination and the most beautiful place that is just prepared. All the puzzle pieces are together and they're there and they're just waiting for me to arrive.
So I just found out that I did not get the job that I was interviewing for. I made it around to the final interviews and everything, and they just decided to go with somebody else. It is what it is. And in full transparency, it was definitely a rush application, and it was going to be the easier route that I knew I was settling for. So like, there's something in me that's not even like mad I didn't get it. It's just kind of like, oh damn, I could have had the security and the comfort that I like wanted so badly. But it's okay. There's other jobs to apply for. There's other things to have, working in my favor, and I'm just gonna keep on moving forward. It's not gonna break me. It ain't gonna shake me. It just is what it is. It's just the nature of the world of work we're in. So I'm gonna keep on moving, keep on doing my thing, and that's it. Didn't get the job.
With me to try and find a job. I've been a stay-at-home mom, but stuff happens and I can't stay at home anymore and I need to get a job. So I'm gonna go into restaurants and see if they're hiring. Obviously I don't want to be a server forever, but that's just what it's gonna be for right now. I want to go back to school and become a nurse, but he's too little right now, my baby. I worked at Longhorn, so I'm gonna see if I can transfer, but I also want to look at other jobs just to see, I don't know, maybe switch it up. So I'm gonna go meet the managers at Longhorn first, and then I'm gonna go stop in and bring my resume at a few other places. I'm feeling nervous because I've never done that. I don't know, it's like embarrassing. Okay, so at Longhorn, they said that I could already be on the schedule for next week, so that's good. They put me down for bartending and serving, but they said it's a little slow, and I don't know. So I'm gonna go to another place, and then I'll let you guys know. Okay, there's this new restaurant that I'm about to walk in and ask. I'm so scared, I don't know why. So I just say like, hey, can I talk to the manager? Oh, I'm so nervous, but I'm about to go in. Okay, that was like a little nerve-wracking because it's like a bougie place. I filed an application. Like the manager like looked at me and he was like, okay, you can give her an application. It was just like scary, and they asked for like all these references and stuff. I don't know, scary. I'm gonna go to one more place. Okay, I just went to like 3 other places, and one took my application, one took my resume, and then the other 2 said they're not hiring. which sucks, but whatever. It's summer, so it's super slow, so I might just have to work at Longhorn for the meantime. I mean, I make good money there, but I need to figure out something else.
Job search update! I have received so many rejections email to the point where I know when I'm getting rejected. For example, if I applied or interviewed for a company, let's say Monday of this week, and I haven't heard anything back from them Friday of that week, chances that I'm getting rejected is probably the Sunday of that week or the Friday of next week. Today's a Friday. I already got like 4 different rejections-ish. That's kind of low, I know, compared to you guys, but still. I have a vision that this Sunday I'm going to get more rejections. Which is totally okay because rejection is redirection, bitch. Have a great weekend.
What does it take to get a job nowadays? Like an entry-level position. What does it take to get that? Because I've been job searching for over a year. I have a bachelor's degree, I have research experience, I have work experience of over 4 years, and I keep getting rejection after rejection after rejection. I have been, getting advice from recruiters on this app, from people who give career coaching advice online. I tailor my resume. I include cover letters even when it's not required. I do like a bullet point list so that it's easy to read why I'm a good fit. I go on LinkedIn. I reach out to, the hiring managers or the recruiters that work for the company. And I'll even reach out to people who already work in the position that I'm applying to. I do all of that after I apply. And I still get rejected. And then even if I make it to the next level with interviews and I do a good job, I'm prepared, I answer the questions great, everything seems well, send out my thank you emails, I'm very responsive to them, very professional in all of my communications with them. Even with all of that, I'm still not getting jobs. And like I said, it's been over a year. And I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know if it's possible to get an entry-level job. I mean, I'm applying for jobs that I'm overqualified for, and I still am not getting those jobs or even getting a shot to interview with them because I'm getting auto-rejected for some reason. Like I said, I've been tailoring my resume, scoring it on ChatGPT to see, how does this resume hold up with for what they're looking for. And even with all of that, I'm still getting auto-rejected. And yes, I'm applying to jobs within, the week that they're posted. So honestly, what more can I do? What do people have to do nowadays to get a job?
Nobody tells you this, but finding a job is that easy. You just gotta know how to start. If you're still using LinkedIn and Indeed, forget it! I actually got a better alternative for you. Unlike this mess I just created, I've been using an AI job finder called Prep AI, and it does wonders. I'm talking about applying to 400 plus jobs in just 20 minutes. All you gotta do is download the Prep AI app on your phone, upload your resume, and then it applies to jobs for you by swiping left or right. My pants may be ruined, but my job search isn't.
Yes, it's a lot right now. If you're trying to get a job in this job market, it's the toughest it's been in years. Even just compared to last year, it's way more difficult to just get an interview. And unfortunately, a lot of this stuff is out of your control. Like, you have no control over the fact that you're competing with more people because there's been a ton of layoffs, or that more companies are using AI as part of the hiring process, and that complicates things. But you do have control over your approach, because your approach can be better than like 95% of the other people that are trying to apply for jobs right now. So what you can do is be more effective, and you can be more consistent. So you can do things differently, like don't just apply on the big job sites. Find specific job boards for your industry or your roles. You'll have a better chance there because there'll be fewer applicants. So another thing, like don't just have one version of your resume or even just 2 versions. Take the extra 5-10 minutes to tailor your resume to every job application. It makes a huge difference. And consistency is key. Have a focused goal every single day of how many applications you're going to send out. Set yourself a timer, maybe 50 minutes of applications, 10 minutes break, and do that several times a day. Just having that goal and that consistency is going to put you ahead of most other people.